Today, we're going to talk about how you are your own biggest opponent. It's always been you versus you. The consciousness versus the ego. This is the battle within, the internal war that shapes your life. Have you ever felt like there's a battle going on inside of you? One part of you knows you're meant for more, but you're stuck between who you are and who you're meant to become. What if I told you that your biggest challenge isn't the outside world? It's your own ego. This is the battle that shapes your reality. Whether you know it or not, baby, it's always been you versus you. Your ego is the false self. This is the version of you shaped by your fears, your societal expectations, past conditioning, and even a bunch of beliefs that probably aren't even your own. Your consciousness is your higher self, which is pure awareness, the observer of your thoughts and your emotions, the God within, your true essence. One keeps you small and the other expands you. Here's the thing. We've all had moments when our higher self plants a vision in our spirit, something ignited, something bold, beautiful, and aligned. But sometimes before we can even act on it, here comes the ego. It whispers doubt, it magnifies fears, and it even has the power to invent problems that don't even exist yet. It convinces us to hit pause on our purpose, to shrink when we're built to expand. It's like standing at the edge of possibility with wings on your back, but instead of flying, you let the fear fall and keep you stagnant. The ego will always try to limit you, and it does in a few key ways. And this sounds a lot like who we know as the devil, right? But here's the truth. The ego isn't evil. It is a survival mechanism. But survival isn't the same thing as expansion. Your ego will keep you stuck in old patterns, trapping you in a loop of limitations. It'll tell you that you're not good enough and that you can't do it and that you're not ready. And if you listen long enough, you'll stay right where you are, playing small and doubting your power, holding yourself back from the life you were born to live. Purpose doesn't come without pressure. Even Moses questioned his calling. But when you recognize the voice of fear for what it is, you realize that you were never meant to be held back by the voice of the ego. You were meant to rise with the voice of the spirit. The ego also has a need for control. It hates uncertainty. It resists change and tries to control everything. I personally relate the ego to the conscious aspect of the human mind and the masculine energy we all possess within. It thrives on structure, logic, and predictability. But, baby, life is not linear. It is not a straight line and it will never be. Another way the ego tries to deceive you is through attachment. It will have you questioning, who am I without this job? Who am I without this money? Who am I without this relationship? Who am I without these followers? These attachments will keep you tied to a false identity, preventing you from stepping into your true power and potential. But honestly, once you reach a certain level of awareness and you are on the path of self mastery, you won't even see your ego as the enemy anymore. You just know it needs to be checked. The real power, your true essence, is limitless. The divine power that flows through you is unlimited. Your abilities aren't defined by what the ego tells you you can or can't do. You carry the very power of God within you, and God can never lose. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, Taylor, how do I know when I'm operating in true consciousness? How do I know when I'm tapped into the God within? I'm going to express some signs that you may experience when you are operating from consciousness, which is inherently the God in you. Consciousness is the awareness of being aware. Most people live on autopilot, reacting to thoughts and emotions without questioning them because they are attached to their ego. They haven't yet realized that they are not their thoughts or their mind. I've mentioned before that you are the receiver of your thoughts. And when you operate in self awareness, you are operating in consciousness. In this state of being, you are detached from your ego and you are fully connected to your true power. This could look like you having the ability to observe your thoughts rather than being controlled by them. This could also look like being able to respond instead of react. Another aspect of this would be feeling more present and at peace, regardless of external situations, and not fixated on things out of your control. To shift from the ego to consciousness, I recommend practicing awareness. This can look like meditation, journaling, mindfulness, focusing on the now, the present, and not the past or the future. Pay attention to what type of thoughts you're having. This will give you a great indication on the level of frequency you're operating on. If they're fearful, condescending, negative, or limiting, baby, you are not vibrating very high. And if they are optimistic, empowering, expansive, or even creative, that is exactly where you want to be. Embrace uncertainty by trusting the natural flow of life instead of trying to control every outcome. This is where the feminine energy within us comes alive. Last but not least, align with love instead of fear. Make choices that come from expansion and excitement, not limitation. Today's call to action is to think about how your ego may be limiting you, whether in your love life, your personal development, or your career. Now, reflect on how you can turn that power around and use it for empowerment. In what areas of your life is fear disguising itself as protection, and how can you shift from fear to faith? Think about it. Bye.